Hello. So today we're going to be talking about inequalities. And inequalities are solved almost the same way as an equation. However, they have the greater than, less than signs and greater than and equal to signs and less than and equal to signs. So, and you graph them sometimes on a graph. The open circle is when they do not have the equal sign underneath of them, and then they have a closed circle for when they do have an equal sign under them. And we'll go through that as we do the next couple of slides together here. I put example 1 and 2 up. Solve and graph is what it tells you. Solve and graph. And you have x minus 7 is less than 2. And again, solve them just like an equation. Just drop down the inequality sign when it is a positive x for the answer, right? It's plus 7 on each side. Cancel out the 7s. X less than 9. That means any number is less than 9. On the graph, it would be an open circle, and then it would be whatever number is before 9. Less than 9 is this way to the left of the graph. And so that is, it's all colored in, and then you're pointing that way. Now, I don't know if you have to do the problem on your paper and pick a graph, or you have to do the problem and say it's x less than 9, and they don't want you to graph it. But either way, we did both in class, so I'm just trying to show you how it's done. The next one is 2x plus 1 less than 9. You take away the 1, because the opposite of adding is subtracting, and then you have 2x less than 8. This is multiplication. It's a two-step, multi-step problem. You divide by 2 because you want to know what times 2 would give you 8, and it would be 4. And then it's a number that is less than 4, and again, this would be that graph. It would be 4, 3, 2, 1, and whatever number is before that, it's an open circle and then solid line after that. The next one that we have up would be for us to do them. So let's see what we have. Again, you want to pause this, write down this problem and this problem. So that was 1 and 2, so this would be example 3, and this would be example 4. And then we'll look at them. But notice that these have an equal sign. So when we graph them, that circle is going to be solid, and I kind of put that grid up there again for you to understand. So we're going to do the opposite of subtracting 2 is going to be add 2. No, let me take that back. Why? Because I noticed that on each side I have a variable, and I took away, I was going to add the 2. I don't want to do that. I want to take away the 4. I'm so silly. So minus 4x and minus 4x. And then I have negative 2 is less than equal to x. Now, you notice that the x is on this side. This is the unknown number. But you read it from the x spot, not from 2 less than equal to x. You want to say x is greater than or equal to negative 2 when you graph it. You're graphing it, right? Next is the graph. So when you're drawing it, you're doing your negative 2 on this side, and you're saying x is greater than or equal to, that tells me it's a solid circle, and that number is either going to be equal to negative 2, and it's going to be greater than. So that graph will go this way. And that would be your final answer. This would be the answer you choose for multiple choice, or this would be the graph that you choose if you had to choose a graph on the test. So either one would be correct. This one over here has a little bit of a twisted plot, right? Because you're going to have a negative 5x, and you're going to have to know this one little glitch in the inequalities. And I'm going to tell you that in one hot second. I'm going to take this 8 and move it over with its buddy 23. I have to subtract that 8. And I'm going to subtract from that side. Negative 5x less than equal to. And 23 minus 8 is going to be a 15. Now, when dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you reverse the sign. There's your glitch. There's your little twisty goodness to it, right? You're going to reverse the sign. If this is less than greater than, or less than equal to, my bad, you're going to do greater than equal to. And you're going to divide by negative 5, and since I'm dividing by a negative number or multiplying it, however you're doing it, that's when that turns around. That's when you reverse the sign. That's the one little detail that you have to remember on the test. And then positive divided by negative is a negative. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And x is greater than or equal to negative 3. And if you had to graph it, and then it's equal to, it means it's a solid circle, and that means any number is going to be equal to or greater than negative 3. And that is how you do that. All right. So this is that answer. Don't forget to reverse the sign, and this is the answer if you have to graph it. Next, I think, are compound inequalities. You have to split them up. So this is just an example of that. I split it up. I put 5 less than x minus 6 on this side. And then I put x minus 6 less than 11 on this side. And again, you treat the inequalities like you're solving, but you're just writing an inequality in for it. And so I have to add 6 to both sides to get x by itself. X is greater than 11. And then I have to add 6 on this side. 11 plus 6 is 17. X is less than 17. Then I'm going to bring them together. I'm going to bring them together. And I write exactly what I have. X is less than 17, but greater than 11. And when I graph it, they are both an open circle. That's what this is. Open circle, and then it's whatever number is in between that. Whatever number is in between that is where that x falls. You may pause it and look at that again because we're going to do one together. So here we have it. And I left the graph up because, I don't know, I just did. It was hard to fit it down there and I just left it up. So you're going to take negative 4 less than equal to negative 2 times x plus 5 divided by 3 and put it on this side. Oops, I forgot to erase that. Let me do that real quick. Don't look. Okay, and then you split it up. It's a compound inequality. You have negative 2x plus 5 divided by 3 less than equal to 1. Now you're going to solve for each side. Starting over here, we have to get rid of the 3. And that's a division. That's negative 2x plus 5 divided by 3. I'm going to do the opposite of dividing, and I'm going to times 3. And then these 3's cross out. This 2x plus 5 goes here. And then I have 3 times negative 4. That's going to be a negative 12. I have 5. I need to move them over here. Why? Because I have to get x by itself. I'm going to minus 5 and minus 5. And then I'm going to have negative 2x. And then I have negative 12 minus 5 is negative 17. Well, that doesn't really make any sense, but let's see what we can do. Negative 2, negative 2. it's going to be positive, because negative divided by negative is positive. And you could do a decimal. How many 2's goes into 17? 8. And then you have 1/2. And then we have x is greater than or equal to 8.5. And then, I see a mistake I did. What did I not do? What did I not do? I didn't reverse my sign. I didn't reverse my sign. Let's do that real quick. It's a good mistake to see. Unfortunately, it happens with me. And I usually have students catch me and say, Miss Saul, you wrote that down. And that's okay. I do make mistakes. Last time, you cut me, I bleed. I'm human. So you reverse the sign. And remember, when you're divided by a negative, that's when that sign flips. That's when that sign flips. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply by 3 and multiply by 3. And these 3's would cancel out. And I would have less than equal to 3. I would subtract the 5 and subtract the 5, because I have to get x by itself. And I have negative 2x less than equal to negative 2. But then I notice, now I got it. Now I got it. Why? Because I'm going to be dividing by negative 2 and a negative 2. And when I divide by a negative and I'm dealing with inequalities, I have to flip the sign. So I'm going to turn it into greater than equal to. Those 2's cross out. That becomes x is greater than equal to a positive 1. And what does that look like graphing? That looks like that. There's my positive 1 and my 8.5. I fill in the circles dark because they are both equal to. And I fill in the graph with a dark line in between each dot. And that would be my graph, and these would be my answers. Now what I would need to do is at some point I might have to write 8.5 greater than equal to x. X is greater than equal to 1. When you bring them together, that's the answer you would be looking for. If you had a multiple choice test and then you had options to choose from, you would choose that for that answer, or you could choose that graph for that answer. And I think that concludes our lesson in inequalities. Thank you. Have a great day.